also in getting the right talents for the jobs and also helping them to upgrade, to focus on the more value-adding activities. And therefore, we as leaders are needed also to make the transformation happening and running this in the best way for the people by using whatever we get access to increase the productivity here and also to stay in business with our existing business model or adapt the business model if needed.
Yeah. And this is what we call human augmented. You call it bionic. I call it human augmented. And the good news is back in 1996, when I first started with Sony and starting to work on robots and AI, that was our goal. We thought, we need to have, so obviously it was for the Japanese culture because people were getting older. They didn't have kids that could take care of them. And so we thought, we're going to make a robot which is going to entertain them back in 1999. And, when we launched it, we didn't have the technology. The internet was like really at the start of everything, but that was our goal. I remember very vividly Dr. Doi, who's the guy who invented Aibo, saying, I want humans to be augmented. So putting human at the heart, exactly as you said, Marcel. And what I felt today, last month at the CES, was the fact that at least with all the startups, they really had humans in mind. Tony mentioned CX, customer experience. Customers were really at the heart of all the technologies that came out. And also, when you looked at products, they were less complicated to understand. So, or maybe it's because I'm getting older, and so I feel like with all the experience, maybe it's easier. But when I first had, I think it was for PlayStation 4 or 3, I can't remember, but I first had my goggles, with VR. It was extremely complicated to make it work. At CES, you just put your goggles on and you're in a different world, right? We have gone really a long way to make it now easier for customers and to make humans at the heart of everything. And this is why I believe something major is going to happen and that tech is really going for good because we're not forgetting about humans. And Marcel is 100% right. I mean, my mind is the fact that if we don't forget about humans, we're going to succeed. Technology is not here to replace humans. It's here to help humans and to augment humans.
And by the way, Nicolas, just to add, we can prove this. When I was born, I was born 1970. So now everyone knows how old I am.
He's only young fella.
But look at the technology, what we had. Thanks, guys. But the technology we had was television got color, number one. The phone we had was used, and this was for millennials or Generation Z. Exactly, the rotary phones. What we had, by the way, this was one number for younger people now not understanding what we are talking about. And of course, we had radio. But look at the number of people we were on Earth. It was 3.4 billion at the time I was born. Now we know last year we had we have more than 8 billion people on Earth. So basically we more than doubled. And look at the technology, what we have access to, and only the buzzwords, what we used here. And there was no blockchain, IoT, 5G, and all the things what we could now probably talk for hours here. This all is available right now. And we have the lowest unemployment rate on Earth. I will not say that the world is perfect. It's by far not. And I'm here in Germany, not far away. There is a war, Russia against the Ukraine. There's an increase in energy costs and so on. I think we all can agree we are not living in a perfect world, and there is a lot what we need to do. But on the other side, I also want to underline the importance of technology and how technology has helped us to get there, where we are right now, and also leveraging the capabilities what we have. Just to building on that, Nicolas, because I think it's very important, because people always think, oh yeah, a robot will see my work or some artificial intelligence. And now it's also the discussion about, just because I'm getting really emotional about this topic, ChatGPT, and there was a list the next day in the internet. These are the jobs, including lawyers and all teachers, kinds of white collar works. But look also what this really does. This is uncertainty, which gets created just by some media releases or putting some information out. The same was happening with autonomous trucks. When Elon Musk was on stage, I remember very well, it was an amazing show and the first semi-truck was presented. The big show, and by the way, the fun fact was the Roadster, the new convertible was also in it. But the next day, 10,000, 100,000 of jobs in the United States were putting on the line that basically these truck drivers might have no longer a job. The total number globally of autonomous or electric trucks at this point in time was 2. And look now where we are. We have a shortage in truck drivers right now. The same here, by the way, in Europe. Yeah. There's nothing better here on the European side, and this is really also where we need to balance a little bit. And this is why I warn also from the hype and using here the hype cycle as a terminology, that basically the augmented technology, all the disruptive technologies, what we have access to, it is not changing the world from one day to another, but the process and the journey what we start, and we are part of the journey. And as leaders, we need also to define rules, give guidance, provide a vision, but also take out the fear of the people by just seeing the negative side.
The way you take out the fears, that's how I spend my days, is actually explaining that history repeats itself. Just look back 1800s when they invented the first car. They must have been so scared, because how did they do mobility at the time? You had a horse, right? So you had people taking care of the horse. You had people feeding the horse. You had people taking the horse for the night. And suddenly all these jobs disappeared because you had a car, right? But new jobs were invented. You had the mechanics. You had the tire manufacturers who became. You had radio. You had entertainment in the car. You had all these things that so. Where will we be today if our grandparents had said no to the phone or electricity, right? And the phone and electricity were a huge change as well, because with electricity, suddenly you had the light, so you didn't have the business of candles anymore. Right?
Disrupted the whole industry, right? Disrupted so many jobs, right? Yeah.
And I hear people saying, and I understand their fears and everything. Marcell, we're on a journey and we can't go back. So let's make the best out of that journey.
Yeah, and I think our young people are the key to this, because we don't necessarily understand the tools and technologies that they're using day in, day out, and we as business leaders need to create that environment where that can come up to the top and help us shape the future of our business and our business offerings and what we will do for our customers, because our customers in the future, they're going to require these type of experiences, and if we don't understand them, but our young people do, well, isn't the onus on us to figure out how we tap into that and help them to help us to, move this whole thing forward?
Absolutely. Let's talk about Generation Alpha, okay? They don't understand half of what we're talking about, okay? Millennials, we kind of can talk to them. Alpha, forget it. So with that, I don't think ChatGPT is taking up the world. I don't, okay? A great example of electricity, great example. It's going to help us. It's going to be another tool. If students will be, if teachers and instructors and professors at university, if they will be looking at their students based on their quality of their work created by ChatGPT, we should be intelligent enough to kind of know the distinction. All right, so it's still back to us. There is no technology that taking responsibility for good professor to see good essay from repetitive artificial essay they can grab. Okay, I remember all these worries about Wikipedia. Do you remember? How all these students will start learning from Wikipedia only. Guess what? We are in a better place now because of it.
Yep, absolutely. No, absolutely. And that's why. And again, going back to the original subject, which was CES and Davos, this is how everything we've been saying, at least I feel Tony, Marcell, and I, is exactly that. We're on a journey, and CES and Davos are helping us to go onto that journey, because everything we say and the fears people can have, and the ethics we need to put around AI and ChatGPT and the Metaverse and everything, people are thinking about it as well. And the sustainability, all the important humanity questions are not forgotten.